Tonight on Cronkite News, a tornado in Arizona, the damage this tornado left behind, and what the National Weather Service is saying about it.
Plus, understanding unidentified flying objects. The researchers calling on government leaders to take this phenomenon in the sky more seriously.
And ASU football head coach Kenny Dillingham faced his former program on Saturday. What it reminded him about the state of Pac-12 football.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Sydney Whitty.
And I'm Jacob Luthi. Thank you for joining us.
More than 150,000 Latino youth will become eligible to vote in time for the 2024 election, making the state's second largest voting bloc even more of a force.
But experts say that growth could come with some surprises, as Renee Romo reports from our Washington bureau.
Latinos will have growing clout in both Arizona and in the U.S., where they could become the second largest voting bloc in 2024. But how will they wield that clout? That's the question experts are asking.
What's been troubling to some analysts is that they view the Hispanic vote as one bloc. And you can't, because they're very diverse.
Leah Marquez Peterson, a member of the Arizona Corporation Commission, is an example of how diverse political views can be, even within a single Hispanic family.
My parents are Democrats. My brother and I are Republican. So we've seen a lot of shifting and changing, and it really depends on the perspective people are looking towards.
Marquez Peterson recently started a political action committee to support Hispanic Republicans, even though she believes most Latinos still lean Democratic. For his part, Noble thinks most traditional Latino voters tend toward the Republicans. But both agree with Clarissa Martinez, vice president of the Unidos Latino Vote Initiative, on what will be at the front of those voters' minds as they go to the polls next year.
For Arizona, not surprisingly, inflation and the rising cost of living was the top issue.
That finding was echoed by the Brennan Center for Justice in a recent report detailing the growth of the Latino vote. Besides inflation and the economy, both Unidos and the Brennan Center said Latino voters will be looking at issues like abortion, immigration, and gun violence. And how they vote on those issues could well be affected by factors such as religion, age, and education.
If you're young, you're more progressive. The older you get, the more conservative you become. It's not that you're saying you're conservative, it's just that you start to drift, on the paradigm, right?
While there are plenty of unknowns, one thing that is for sure is that the demographic's growing presence will inevitably have an impact one way or another. In Washington, Renee Romo, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Renee. Back here, university leaders are defending themselves after a last-minute cancellation featuring an address from Representative Rashida Tlaib on ASU's Tempe campus. The event was slated to happen last Friday at Neeb Hall, but event organizers say they were told it was canceled hours before. The event was hosted by the Arizona Palestine Network, which is a pro-Palestine advocacy group. The group ended up hosting Representative Tlaib through Zoom rather than in person. ASU defended their actions in a statement saying people who use ASU facilities must follow proper protocol and not disrupt ASU activities. An ASU spokesperson said the event featuring Congresswoman Tlaib was planned and produced by groups not affiliated with ASU and was organized outside of ASU policies and procedures. Accordingly, the event did not take place Friday on the ASU Tempe campus.
The Arizona Department of Corrections has reached an agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice. This after the DOJ found the Department of Corrections violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. In July, the Department of Justice claimed the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry failed to sufficiently help those who were blind. The infractions include not providing auxiliary aid, services, and reasonable accommodations. Now, the Department of Corrections will provide key materials to those experiencing vision impairment. This will include tablets with the text-to-speak function. In the agreement reached last week, the Arizona Department of Corrections has 1 week to provide the materials when an incarcerated person first arrives at the prison.
If you've lived here in the Valley for a while, you probably remember the Phoenix Lights, UFOs that appeared over Phoenix. Well, UFOs are now officially UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena. And with the government taking a closer look and taking them seriously, longtime researchers may be spelling UAP as RESPECT, as Alexandria Cullen reports from our Washington bureau.
Shane Hurd has been researching UAPs for years, but Hurd with the Mutual UFO Network in Phoenix thinks the research may finally be entering a golden age.
The taboo is lifting, and the government is taking it serious. And as I said, I think we're even in a little bit of a golden age where we stand a real possibility of getting some very meaningful information from the government and from scientists.
Researchers like Hurd are encouraged by the recent official interest in UAPs. A House committee held a hearing on the issue in July, the same month that the Air Force created the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to study the issue. That issue hits close to home in Arizona. The state is amongst the top 10 in North America for reported UAP sightings, according to the National UFO Reporting Center. The decades-long database has nearly 5,000 sightings in the state.
For Arizona, we see a lot of cases around the Metro Phoenix area. Stands to reason in terms of population and more people maybe looking up and noticing. But we also have a lot of counts around the border with Mexico.
One of those sightings, known as the Phoenix Lights, took place on March 13, 1997. More than 10,000 reportedly saw it over several states.
The mass sighting has now become the most witnessed, most documented, most important mass anomalous sighting in modern history, if not all of history.
That sighting inspired Kitai to do more research, confirming for her that the Phoenix Lights was just one of many sightings that occurred in Arizona.
Arizona has had sightings for decades, if not centuries. The native cultures here have such a history of these sightings. For hundreds of years.
The history of sightings and further documentation since then have researchers around the country echoing the same message.
It's time to stop debating whether these things are real or not. They absolutely are real. There is no question about it. The question now is, what are we going to do about it?
For researchers like Yatai, the answer is obvious. Take the issue seriously and keep researching.
The data is there. I always say the data speaks for itself. Just, if you choose, and it is a choice, to look at it, you might learn and grow, and that's what it's all about. And, people can decide for themselves, like I said earlier, every person in their own time.
Researchers are just glad that a real conversation has started and hope people can accept the idea that UAPs might be out there and are worthy of study. In Washington, Alexandria Cullen, Cronkite News.
If you want to do some study on your own, you can go to the National UFO Reporting Center at NUFORC.org.
Arizona ranks 17th in the nation in deaths from gun violence, but that's not the case for some of our neighbors. Cronkite News health reporter Deanna Pistono visited our neighbors to the east in New Mexico to find out how they fare when it comes to guns. Deanna?
When it comes to gun violence, New Mexico is ranked third, well above what it is here in Arizona. I traveled with my colleague John Leos to Albuquerque to learn how communities and officials there are taking action to prevent the violence.
Antonio was my youngest. He was my only son. He was loved by everybody who encountered him.
Sally Sanchez is one of many people in New Mexico who has lost a loved one to gun violence. On November 4th, Sanchez and others gathered in Albuquerque for the unveiling of a new mural by the nonpartisan organization New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence.
We were a group of concerned citizens on the issue of gun violence after the Sandy Hook shooting, but also the issue of gun violence in New Mexico. So we banded together and started this nonprofit and have been going strong ever since.
The augmented reality piece was actually presented to me by my director as one of the technologies that they wanted to introduce through this mural. On these faces directly behind me, they become shadow and then a scrolling list of people that we've lost in this city in New Mexico starts scrolling.
The mural is part of wider efforts to prevent gun violence in New Mexico, where the firearm-related death rate is almost double the national rate. In September, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham issued a controversial public health order temporarily suspending the open and concealed carry of guns in public areas where violent crimes are high. Though a federal judge blocked the original order, an amended version now applies only near parks and public playgrounds. This amended order has been renewed until December 1st, 2023.
Her heart was in the right place, but what happened was it created a lot of diversion, right? A lot of divisiveness. That's the word I'm looking for. But good for her for trying. Started a conversation on gun violence prevention, and we'll continue to work on it.
Not everyone agrees that the public health order is justified, including Sanchez, who co-founded the advocacy group New Mexico Crusaders for Justice.
I think that the governor is overreaching with this public health order. I mean, gun violence has been going high for the last 3 years. Taking people's guns is not the answer to me. It's not. It's holding them accountable.
For many at the event, including student advocate Janae Martinez, it was important to note the lasting effect of gun violence on the health of young people.
The fear of being in harm's way of losing loved ones or being victims themselves disrupts their sense of safety and their trust in the world around them. This fear can manifest in various ways, from struggling in school due to anxiety or experiencing symptoms of post-traumatic stress.
For the family and friends of victims of gun violence, like Sally Sanchez, the loss is never forgotten.
This Build-A-Bear was given to me, and it holds the last voicemail that I have of my son. So when I need to hear his voice, I have it here. When I need a hug, I hold him. He goes with me everywhere.
I love you. Hope you had a good weekend, and I'll call you tomorrow morning before you go to work, okay? Love you. Talk to you.
917 people have died in the United States this year as a result of gun violence, including suicide. In the newsroom, Deanna Pistono, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, the Arizona boutique trying to connect community college students to professional clothing. We have the motivation behind their generous acts. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage.
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to see.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Welcome back. Being a college student can be financially difficult when it comes to dressing up for a job interview.
However, one local nonprofit has opened up a clothing boutique at a community college. And as our own Aaron Gonzalez found out, they have affordable options for students who need to dress for success. Aaron joins us now. And Aaron, what was it like?
Hey, thanks, Sydney. The nonprofit Dress for Success Phoenix has partnered with Paradise Valley Community College and opened a clothing boutique on campus to give back to students in need.
So you're gonna always tuck your shirt. Okay, that's great. Just for your meetings, for your interviews.
Axel Felix Pineda is looking for a suit, and as a student at Paradise Valley Community College, he's in luck because there's a clothing boutique right on campus.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity to students because maybe some students don't have the chances to get a nice suit to an interview or something like that. Some people don't have the same opportunities as others.
Now Felix Pineda and other students at PVCC can pick out whatever they need, all for free. It's a much needed resource that is giving back to students and the local community.
Services were definitely needed. We wanted it to be a resource center. They can come for food, they can come to get help with their resume, they could come for the clothes, as well as the community.
The boutique run by Dress for Success Phoenix provides more than clothing. They're putting students on the path to success.
It's a wonderful feeling to know that you're helping start that young person on their road for their career path. And you come back and you'll see them later down. They'll say, oh, Miss Mary, I got the job. I'm doing good. Or I'm going to school and I got the internship. So it's wonderful to see them excel in their careers and know that Dress for Success Phoenix had a part of that.
Most of the clothes are either gently used donations or purchased new. Over 30 students have benefited from the Dress for Success Phoenix Boutique here at Paradise Valley Community College since it opened its doors back in May. In addition to not only making students look and feel good, they also provide essential resources for the community at hand. Having a resource space such as Dress for Success offers numerous benefits, but it also creates memories that last a lifetime.
They're going to remember that first suit that they went on that interview and got that job or got the internship. So that's what the exciting part when they say, you know what, and young men, they'll say, I never tied a tie before. And we're helping them do those just life-changing things that's going to take them to another level in their lives.
No matter where life leads you, it's all about the journey. And that's the main goal of PVCC's Dress for Success Phoenix program, to provide resources and lend a helpful hand to those in need.
And if you plan on donating clothes, they're looking for professional attire that's fashionable and current for business environment. Clothing donations are accepted every third Thursday of each month from 11 to 3 p.m. at the Puma Empowerment Center. In the newsroom, Aaron Gonzalez, Cronkite News.
Earlier today, President Biden hosted the annual tradition of pardoning turkeys before Thanksgiving. The turkeys Liberty and Belle were pardoned during the ceremonies today. Both turkeys weighed more than 42 pounds. The tradition of pardoning turkeys has been on and off since the time of Lincoln. It became a yearly tradition in 1989.
And you don't see turkeys like those every day. And here in Arizona, another thing you don't see every day, tornadoes. This video posted to X shows a tornado hitting Star Valley, Arizona early Sunday. That is about 100 miles from Phoenix. The National Weather Service confirms this was indeed a tornado with winds between 95 and 105 miles per hour. So far, there are no deaths or injuries, but multiple homes were damaged. And hopefully no more tornadoes in our forecast.
That's right. Adriana Gonzalez Chavez joins us from the Weather Center and hopefully calmer weather for the valley.
Thank you, Jacob and Sydney. No chances of tornadoes for the valley. We're sitting about 69 degrees right now and cooling all the way down to 65 degrees by 10 p.m. tonight. Looking at our low temperatures across the state for tomorrow, Casa Grande will be hitting a low of 45 degrees, Phoenix a high of 54, and then Grand Canyon and Flagstaff both hitting a low of 21 degrees for tomorrow. Looking at our high temperatures across the state, Phoenix not even hitting 80 degrees tomorrow with a high of 79. Casa Grande a high of 75. Really nice and cold temperatures up north. Grand Canyon and Flagstaff both hitting a high of 54, and then Yuma hitting a high of 80 for tomorrow. Looking into our 8-day forecast, really nice weather for this week. Chances of clouds for Wednesday with a high of 77. We'll be cooling down Thursday with a high of 73 and cloudy all day with a low of 50. Looking into the rest of the week, chances of clouds for Friday. Really good news for Saturday, 10% chance of rain with a high of 71. And then for the rest of the week, we'll be hitting a high of 70. Sunday, nice and sunny skies. Monday, the chances of storm come back with a 20% chance of rain. Tuesday, partly cloudy with a low of 47 for that day. And then looking into our weather for Thanksgiving holiday, really nice weather to go outside, spend some time with the kids playing outside or going with for a hike with the family. Partly cloudy with a high of 71 for Thanksgiving. I'm Adriana Gonzalez Chavez from the Cronkite Weather Center.
Thanks, Adriana. Now we turn to sports and say hello to Beatriz Martinez.
She joins us now with our Cronkite Sports Report. And B, I understand your next story carries quite a heavy load.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You guys, when we come back, we'll highlight an ASU student who is doing her part to lift a weight off her shoulders. How this Olympic sport has transformed her, not only physically, but also mentally.
News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
This is Sun City Garage.
to sports coverage,
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news,
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
and entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Good evening and welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Beatrice Martinez. The Phoenix Suns put up another hard-fought battle against the Utah Jazz Sunday night, and this was definitely a long one with some players on the court for as long as 50 minutes. Devin Booker looking like his old self and continuing to shine with this slam. He had 26 points for the night. And how about Kevin Durant? Age isn't slowing him down. This was his 12th straight game with at least 25 points. But the team effort wouldn't be enough to get it done in regulation, so we're going into double overtime. Durant blocks Lauri Markkanen's shot. Officials called a foul that would send the Jazz forward to the line for 3 free throws. But the call was overturned, so the Suns clinch another road win, 140-137. Arizona State football returned to their home turf on Saturday as head coach Kenny Dillingham reunited with his former team, the 6th-ranked Oregon Ducks. Despite the big loss, Paul Schultz tells us there were some positive takeaways.
Just over a week ago, ASU football went into the Rose Bowl and stunned the UCLA Bruins, a 17-7 upset thanks in part to Coach Kenny Dillingham's unconventional offensive play calling. This weekend, Dillingham brought out the bag of tricks again, but a dominant start from the Oregon Ducks led them to a 49-13 victory over the Sun Devils.
We played a lot of games this year that I don't care our situation at the O-line and the guys hurt and what's happened in year one that we could have won. Played a lot. We were in it and we could have won football games. That team right there, that team was better than us. Point blank. Significantly better than us.
A sea of Oregon Ducks fans watched their team dismantle ASU in the first half. Quarterback Bo Nix threw for 6 touchdowns and 381 yards to put the Ducks up 42-0 at halftime. Though the game was far out of reach, ASU decided to set a different goal for the final 30 minutes.
I challenged our guys at halftime, let's go win the second half. And they went out there and they won the second half. It shows the guys are actually trying to do what I ask. They're trying to compete.
Although the team knows there's still plenty of work ahead to get the program on track, the challenges of this season are part of the process.
Everyone can point at us and say we're the laughingstock of the Pac-12, but these guys work. Once the coaches have a true offseason, a true year with the development that they want to do, the buy-in will come.
With 1 week left in the season, ASU's players carry the same mindset the coaches have instilled since day one.
We're all a family. We're bought into Coach Dillingham's program. We're bought into working hard and trying to be a good example for the future.
There's one game remaining for Arizona State, the one they circle on the calendar each and every year. It's the Territorial Cup matchup, and the Wildcats come in ranked 16th in the AP poll. A win over ASU as well as an Oregon loss to Oregon State would put the Cats in the Pac-12 championship game. The Devils, on the other hand, will look to squash the postseason hopes of their rivals from down south. In Tempe, Paul Schultz, Cronkite News.
Kept alive. Shields leaves her feet. Sear again! The Devils win for the 25th time this season.
What a season for Sun Devil volleyball. Number 18, Arizona State defeated Oregon State on Sunday, giving ASU 13 Pac-12 wins, tying the most in program history. The Sun Devils now have their 3rd all-time best record with 2 games left. Right outside of LA, there is an ASU student pursuing her academics and athletic dreams in the area, and she's doing it one plate at a time. Haley Parker, a junior studying sports business, fell in love with powerlifting just 2 years ago, training multiple days a week, all while juggling classes and a part-time job. The Southern California native will return to Tempe for the spring semester and hopes to continue participating in powerlifting competitions next year. Parker firmly believes this sport is not only about physical strength, but also a strong cerebral game.
It's definitely a sport that's 80% mental and 20% physical. You can have good genetics and you can be so strong, but if you can't pass the mental challenges it gives you, you won't be successful. So definitely it's just helped me learn to be more balanced as a person.
That wraps up your Cronkite Sports Report. In the newsroom, Beatrice Martinez. Jacob and Sydney, back to you.
Thanks, Bea.
When we come back tonight, celebrating a milestone. One of the faces of ASU gets a little older. We celebrate him and his achievements next.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
This is Sun City Garage.
to sports coverage,
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news,
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
and entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Sparky the Sun Devil is celebrating a very big day today, his birthday.
And if you didn't know, Sparky is the official mascot of ASU. Sparky was born on November 20th, 1946, so that makes him officially 77 years young today. Sparky attends about 300 events each year. Yesterday, to celebrate his birthday, several mascots from other Arizona universities and professional teams turned out to the women's volleyball game. The mascots even played a game of volleyball with a balloon.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thanks for joining us.